see right at the bottom of the stack. That's strange. They probably hit it when they dug it. Locate this at a depth of 11 inches. This would be a repair due to the ejector pit. So got some pretty good scale in there. You start using toilet paper, pretty good chance of toilet paper catching on that scale. So then you go to clay right there. So let me back this over here. This is where it 90s down. I'll zero that out right there. We've got about 4.5 foot of 4-inch cast. Look at this 4 to 6 transition at 11 inches deep. So, let's zero this out again. Another small repair there. It's probably where this new is going to, well, no, because that probably goes to the pump. There's no line in it either, so somebody did another small repair there. Other micro repairs, and there's a Y. Okay, this is a depth of 1'2". This is in front of the return air drop for the furnace. You got a brake. Can't tell if it's a seam or a brake. It looks hard to tell because the camera's sitting. Looks like it might be a seam with just an offset separation. There's the piece. Yeah, so basically what they've done is they just didn't make their piece long enough, and that's the Fernco you're seeing. That black thing, it's a rubber boot. That tells me that they didn't bed it in gravel, so over time it settled and created that offset. And you just jump right over it. So let me get a depth that clean out. You got a hole right there in the pipe. See it? Yeah. This looks like a little old hammer tap or something. Unless the jackhammer went through it. For some reason there's a little hole there. And another little short piece of pipe. So here's PVC, and then a short piece of clay, and then more PVC. Somebody had fun with the jackhammer in this. Let's see. Located this spot at a depth of 1'8". So I'm going to zero it out here. So you either have downspouts currently going in this, okay, or something. So you have a branch line coming in there. Anytime we shoot a liner, we want to find out if the downspouts are still going in there or not. Because if you only have one cut, the first cut's $800. So
So after we shoot the liner through there, we have to go in there with a Dan cutter and reinstate that.
So if we end up pricing your liner, whether I do it now or later, we want to make sure the downspouts, nothing else is going in here, because if not, then you can line right through that.
Okay.
If that has to be reinstated, you can still get roots to come in. Once you seal off that line, the roots are already established at that depth, they're going to be starting to look for somewhere else. So, you know, if this is, let's say 6 foot deep outside, you got a 6 foot piece of pipe coming up to a downspout, you still have the potential for roots to get in that part of it. So if you're lucky, you can line through it. So you got another, oh, there's a cross there. So that's 2, and you have roots coming in there. See that? That's roots on the right. So that's 2 sets of downspouts probably coming in right there. One from the left, one from the right, or if there's an old footer drain. So this is just my belief, and I've been doing this a very, very long time. And I owned a jetter, so there's some companies, they're old school, they won't buy a jetter, everything can be done with an auger. I would never, myself, ever put, if I had to just pop it and open to get them flowing, but I don't recommend putting augers in clay pipe, because if you put a cutter on there, which is usually, like yours, you can get a 6-inch cutter in there. They're probably going to start with a 3-inch or 4-inch. But you get a cutter in there and then it binds up in them roots, and that cable sitting there smacking that 60, 70-year-old pipe, good chance of getting cracks in it. The jetter will not cause damage. They're designed.
I think that's where you get.
Yeah, if I don't get past that, then we're in big trouble. That mainly looks like deposits. That's a dirty clay or if that's actually concrete. You got roots coming in minor right there. That's some roots coming in there.
That's an expensive tree, man.
All right.
I had him give me a price about taking it down. $4,000. That's not bad.
That's pretty cheap.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
That's pretty cheap.
That's that guy. It's a guy from Loveland out there, man. He's done a couple for me. And,
well, so here's the thing about cutting a tree down to try and solve this problem. 5 to 7 years after the tree's down, the roots will grow. They'll grow with a vengeance, trying to reestablish that tree. And there is your city. Ooh. So you're going to want to call MSD, maybe take a picture of that, and tell them your tap's all busted up, and I'll send them a picture as well in an email. When you call them, what they're going to do is they're going to send a truck out, they're going to check manhole to manhole, say there's no problem, call a plumber. I'll send them a picture of that in an email. And most of the time, because we do so much with them, most of the time they'll just go ahead and they'll go ahead and TV it off of our email. That's been lined. What is that? It almost looks like a liner. Can't tell what that is. We're gonna find out.
Yeah, in the sewer.
We've located this in the driveway at a depth of 8'9". We'll send some pictures over to MSD. So basically, we'd be looking at about a 45-foot liner. I don't know. I don't know how you want to go about the tie-ins. I'll locate that 12 o'clock one. I mean, so right now you've got three tie-ins, so it's $1,600. So it's $165 a foot. So you take 165 times 45, and then $1,600. We would include jetting the roots out in that charge. If we open the floor, we put the concrete back, and then fix that section where it's settled by putting gravel underneath it.
So 45 times how much?
165.
And then 1,600 on top of
Right,
that.
for the dam cuts. As long as that spot is okay, as long as it's just roots and you don't need a patch, the number you come up there with right there. So there's your two, that's your cross. You can run water in them downspouts if you have a hose, and we can eliminate, if no water comes in, we can eliminate that they're downspouts. However, they used to have a combination where the footer drain would go in there. If you If you eliminate those and you start noticing water, come up like around where the floor comes in, or sometimes it'll even come in around where you patch the concrete, then there's two things you'd have to do. Either one, put in a sump pump so that groundwater would go into that pump and you put it in that room. Or when you have Nixco or whoever do this plumbing, I don't understand this. This was a lot of money, but that sink and that floor drain could have tied into this sewer.
Okay.
This bathroom could have tied into this sewer. I mean, they literally cut through the sewer line to put in this sewage pit.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they did that. Somebody trying to sell somebody something they didn't need. I mean, common sense tells you, hey, we messed up. We found your sewer line. Let's go ahead and tie your bathroom into this sewer line, and we're going to save you. Be a man and say, hey, we messed up. We're going to save you some money. They're going to be happy. Because now you got a pump that's $1,000, $1,500 since the last time I priced one, and it's been a while. That's $1,000
goes
to
bad.
Right, and you should always keep one on because what happens when it happens at midnight? And you can't go buy one. So that's usually what they put in there is a Zoller 266. That's a sewage pump. If that goes bad, you're good for the rest of the house, but you can't use this bathroom. You can't use whatever else is tied into this. You may want to think about, and you can run this by Nixco. Tie the sewer into this for this bathroom. Tie the sewer in for the sink and stuff. I mean, you literally can tie it in. This upstairs, there's no reason that besides this looks like some kind of kid's teepee. Like the little tin fort that they make out of the frame. This is horrible. Plus, it's got backfall. If you look at this, it's leaning backwards.
Yeah.
So any grease, and then you're not even allowed to do this. This is another one. Yeah, I know this one's bent,
but, you know, they, I mean, I don't even know where the pressure 90s, which is a no-no for drainage. You've got vent 90s for drainage, which is a no-no. You know, if this is truly going over to the sink and is the drain, this one should be the vent, and this one should be, and it has to be that way because if you look at the way this is turned, this can't be a drain because we're going to go this way and we're going to go this way. But I mean, at least they put you clean out in there. But if it was me, I would have all this taken out. It needs to be supported. So I would run it down here, tie it in here, eliminate this, and then where this and your sewer line crosses, tie it in the sewer line. I mean, I don't get all that. I don't get it. That's, you know, that looks like something very good. But tie that, you know, even this, yeah, you would have to open the floor back up, but this could go in. The good thing about this being on that is if the sewer line ever did back up, it's not going to come to the floor. That's a plus. Now you could leave this, get this back onto here, get the bathroom back onto here, leave this alone, and go ahead and make that a sump pump. So they, as long as it's not a metal crock, if it's plastic, they go in there. Now, unfortunately, they probably don't have it. If you're lucky, they got a bunch of gravel around the outside. Because normally when I put in a sump pump for a house, I would always take the crock, I just did one in my house, and put in about 100 holes, quarter-inch holes, all the way through it, up and down, and then that allows the groundwater to go in.
Right. My
This-
brother-in-law was a plumber, we put one in my house, so he could do it.
That could still stay on the sump pump, not put it on the sewer. That's a plus. Now, whether it's code or not, a lot of times they say, well, that's got to go on. But anyway, you know, you could turn this into a sump pump and still put it into there. And where this bathroom, you know, where they cut into this and replace this little piece, as long as they didn't go too deep in there, you know, you could take that lid off and tell how far down they came in, but just tie that bathroom into this. You know, I don't see them going into too deep because that's just more digging that they have to do for no reason. But there's, you know, I don't see why that bathroom wasn't put in to this sewer line right here. Why it wasn't put in right there even. You know, because the sewer line, obviously when they're framing this up, they see the stack there. Yes. But that's something I would talk to Nixco or whoever's going to do the plumbing. And that way, you know, if you did seal those off, but here's the thing, if we cut those, if we go in and cut those, I can pretty much guarantee you're going to have roots come back in.
Yeah.
From that, you can see them, literally see them from that side.
I would say just seal them, like you said.
And I want
When we go out to the curb, it looked like there's one that comes out on my side, but they've done the same thing.
Yeah, I seen that one that's cracked on your side. And I'm gonna guess, now I don't know about ones, anything, I didn't look around the back, but I'd like to see where this tie-in is right here. I wonder if you got an old clean out that's covered up. Located this at a depth of 2'4". This looks to be an old floor drain that's been covered up in concrete. We're going to leave it up to the customer on whether or not he wants to line through that and then him cut it out later when he redoes the floor drain. And then there's that hole on the right-hand side at about 2 o'clock that would need to be lined through as well. That, I don't know what that is. I don't know if they decided to drill a hole through there and try to let water in or why that hole's there. But I mean, it's almost a perfect hole.
Yeah.
And there's no other reason for that hole to be there. You know, it's not like that's probably an inch and a half hole. And, you know, unless it's just in there to collect groundwater, it's not going to serve any purpose. You know, if it was a hammer tap, usually what they'll do is they'll bust a hole in there and then they shove a piece of pipe in there for a hammer tap. But it's a lot of weird stuff right there. So, the 165 times, what was it, 45? That's for shooting a liner from there out to
From that clean out?
right
The flush
area. If you needed a liner, if you wanted to line the whole thing, you know, because you can see some roots right there at that joint. If you wanted to line the whole thing, then we would probably do is open the floor. We'd have to open it at that Y. I think there was a Y, if I'm not mistaken. Right here. We would have to open the floor at that Y, which is unfortunately over there in front of the furnace. Because we couldn't, if we open the floor here, we can't shoot it through that Y.
Right.
If we run the upstream side of the Y, we could line through this and then cut that branch out. It kills me. I get this picture of now. Carl, I think we're going to have to come in and jackhammer the floor again. We got another piece that's bad. I mean, they literally did that like 5 times. 1, 2, 3. There's like 4 or 5 repairs in there. I don't like that cast iron. We can go in and descale it and make it smooth, but a lot of times when you descale, it reveals rot. You know, you can go in and knock the highs down, or you can just leave it alone. And then at some point, you would have to address it, you know, because it's going to start holding toilet paper, you know, especially with these cheap 1.6 gallon toilets. I mean, it's not a horrible scale, but it's you know, it's up there. And there's your repair that they did right here where I'm standing, and there's your 90. So I mean, if we was to open the floor here, now what we could do, if you wanted to take care of this as well, we could open the floor at that Y, shoot a liner that way, and then shoot a liner this way. But then you're getting into, you know, 2 liners instead of 1. The second liner we could do, you know, a little cheaper on the footage. But what we would do is shoot that liner. It'd be a it would be a 6x4 transitional liner that we would have to shoot. It's called a reverse transition. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Liner's no good. Very bad that ain't, but we're okay. I fucking mind. Yeah, everything's cool. Everything's cool, a little stressful. Worst case scenario ever is the liner cannot be retracted. It almost happens.
Oh, really?
Changed, yeah, it was bad. It was fucking, I have never had a liner hang like that at night. It fucking, long story short, it was bad. Took 40 minutes, but we got down there. Everything's cool. The gentleman with the long liner is happier. Fuck, I told him what happened. We're coming back Monday, and he is nothing but appreciative, so everybody here is respectful, clean, very happy.
What number is that? Is that the middle unit?
That's the unit on the far left with the big one.
Oh, okay, all right.
He's very happy.
The one that was used, everybody was, the one that he wanted everybody to work barefooted and stuff? That guy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he
Okay.
is on cloud nine. He said, I'll be writing a hell of a review about you guys. I spoke with him for a while, explained what happened, can't happen. I'm going to use a different method. And I asked him if I could do Monday. He said, can you clear me Monday? I said, I will clear you Monday. And he's happy about that.
You won't be here Monday, though.
KC's canceled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, KC canceled everything. I called Derek first, rescheduled it, and I would have called you so you could
Appreciate it.
You guys did a beautiful job with the descale. Descale jet is complete. One lady in the far right, she's kind of being B-word. We got her liner done, but all she needs is a Y liner. So the plan is, we're going to get here at 8 o'clock sharp Monday, put her Y liner in. That takes an hour. We'll have the other liner made, get that in. When that liner's cooking, I can back on concrete clean, she's done. And while that liner's going through its heat phase, we'll continue prepping the middle one for lining. And we should have a long liner done by then. I'm hoping to clear the job Monday. I still think it's possible. They've got Tuesday as a backup for me, but we're going to try to clear Monday. So everybody's good. I just need to use a different technique with different pull cables. We should be fine.
All right.
Just want to give you a heads
I appreciate it.
up. All right.
All right, see ya. So, now, like, if you're gonna get anybody else to give you a quote, there's two different types of liner. There's a scrim and a flexi liner. On a straight 4-inch, we use a flexi. On 4 to 6, it needs to be scrim. And the reason I tell you that is a lot of these guys will take a 4-inch liner, shoot it into that transition. They'll do say if they've been here, they'll do, I'm just throwing numbers out, 4 foot of 4, 12 foot of 6. They're using a total of 16 foot of 4-inch. They're pressurizing or expanding that 6-inch, that 4-inch to 6-inch. Anytime you take something that's 4-inch and stretch it to 6-inch, what's it do? It thins it out. If you ever have an issue, the weak spot is at that transition. So it's bad enough that the whole 6-inch is like a potato chip, but where you're stretching it at that 4 to 6 transition, the cone, it's really thin. It only takes one auger or jetting or just a little bit of movement and it pops. So just if you get any other quotes, just check and say, hey, I got 4 to 6. What are you shooting? Are you shooting scrim? Or are you shooting a flexi liner? You don't want the flexi liner for transitional. Or you just leave this alone, try and do some descale and try and clean it up a little bit. We can descale it.
That's exactly what the other piece looked like that he quoted me for cleaning out over there. The guy from Mexico. It was a separate bid for
He quoted some liner? Or
not liner, just to
descale
descale it. Because he said the same thing. He thought maybe what happened was, if you don't keep that laundry tray clean when that water's coming out, you get that fabric. He thought maybe they had trouble with that. Now it was open when he shot it, but it looked just like that. He said they probably had trouble with that lint
over the years.
catching on that. And
Well-
then when they redid it, they came with a separate line for the kitchen.
Right, so a lot of times what happens is originally, this would have been your kitchen sink, or maybe vice versa, usually kitchen, the laundry. People are getting clogged and stuff in their kitchen sinks, and they're procuring, so it is down at the bottom, it's rotting out, burning that up. But yeah, if it was me, I would totally abandon this line. It's really, the kitchen sink's still on there. If they kept kitchen sink, you run it in here. You can take this off, do a 2 by 1.5 inch, run 2 inch up so far, and then go 1.5 inch their sink, and then still be able to tie your net.
That makes sense.
And that eliminates any old pipe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't understand that at all.
Because this is what he shot right rough going across there.
And he didn't say anything about why this wasn't tied in here?
Yeah. So he gave me a bid to descale that separate from.
My guys with that one. You know that?
It wasn't that much. It was.
But what happens when you do a rock?
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't know. That's the thing.
Maybe just call us the liner. And I don't know what size
Yeah.
it is, so we don't mind too much.
Yeah, I don't know.
We have to do that in patches.
It's better to do like you said. It's pretty good.
I mean, a couple $100, you can do that yourself, usually. You can, if you just do it yourself, you know, obviously, you probably not going up too high, but if you do it yourself, you can simply come in here, tie it right there, or, line. You can take, I mean, there's so many different ways that.
I'm okay with the PVC. His house in Columbus, people moved out of it. Didn't tell the landlord, and all the shit froze.
Yeah.
And his whole house is PVC, the plumbing, everything. So I got pretty good at it. I miss my brother-in-law. He was a plumber for DeGraw Campbell. I miss him, man.
Okay.
He was good, man. He was always like, oh, you always got to leave it for the next guy. I'm like, he always did shit.
Yeah, well, when I had my